My beloved child, I know this is not an easy moment for you. You may be listening with a tired heart, with thoughts that will not rest, with questions that seem to echo in the quiet of your room. You have tried to be strong. You have tried to hold everything together. Yet deep inside, you feel the weight pressing harder than you expected. This message is not SLUCHERADIKAKI. It is not an accident that you are here right now. I have drawn you here because I see the moment you are standing in, and I want you to hear me clearly. Receive strength for this tough moment, for I am with you. You may feel surrounded by uncertainty. Perhaps you are facing a decision that scares you. Perhaps you are carrying responsibilities that feel too heavy for your shoulders. Or maybe it is not one big crisis, but a slow, quiet exhaustion that has been building day after day. You smile in front of others, but inside you whisper, I don't know how much longer I can do this. My beloved child, I have heard that whisper. There are moments in life when the night feels longer than it should, when sleep does not refresh you, when even simple tasks seem overwhelming. You wonder if something is wrong with you because you are struggling. You question your strength. You question your faith. You question your future. But listen to me now. Your struggle does not mean you are failing. Your tears do not mean you are weak. Your weariness does not mean I have left you. Right now, in this very breath you are taking, I am nearer than you think. I am not watching from a distance. I am not waiting for you to fix yourself. I am here in the middle of your confusion, in the middle of your fear, in the middle of your tired heart. And I am not here to judge you. I am here to strengthen you. What if the strength you have been searching for is not something you must create on your own? What if it is something you receive? You have been trying to carry everything by yourself, believing that strength means never bending, never pausing, never admitting you are overwhelmed. But my child, true strength is not found in pretending you are unbreakable. True strength is found in letting me hold you when you feel fragile. This tough moment you are facing does not define your future. It does not cancel my plans for you. It does not silence my promises over your life. Instead, it is the very place where you will discover that you are not alone. When everything around you feels uncertain, my presence remains certain. So breathe, my beloved child. Let your heart quiet for a moment. Let these words sink deep into your spirit. You do not have to walk through this moment alone. Receive strength for this tough moment. I am with you. My beloved child, I see what you are carrying, even the things you have never spoken aloud. I see the invisible weight resting on your shoulders. I see the responsibilities you accepted because no one else would. I see the expectations you try to meet, the silent promises you made to yourself, the quiet pressure to be strong for everyone else. You may think that because others do not notice your struggle, it goes unseen. But nothing about your life is hidden from me. It can feel like you are walking through each day with a heavy backpack that never comes off. Inside it are worries about your future, concerns about finances, fears about relationships, regrets about the past, and doubts about whether you are enough. Each morning you wake up and lift that weight again. Some days you manage it well. Other days it feels like too much. Yet you keep going. You keep trying. And I want you to know that I honor your effort. You tell yourself that you should be stronger by now. You compare your journey to others and wonder why things seem easier for them. But you do not see their hidden battles, just as they do not see yours. My beloved child, your journey is unique. The path you are walking has been carefully measured. The hills you climb are not signs that you are failing. They are shaping your endurance in ways you cannot yet understand. I see the moments when you sit quietly, and your thoughts become loud. I see the nights when your mind replays conversations, mistakes, and what-ifs. I see the tightness in your chest when fear whispers that things might not work out. I see the way you brace yourself for disappointment because you are afraid to hope too much. You have learned to guard your heart, thinking it will protect you from pain. But even behind those walls, I am present. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are human. The world you live in can be demanding and unkind. It asks for more than you feel able to give. It praises strength but rarely makes space for vulnerability. Yet I, your father, do not require you to hide your weakness. I am not impressed by masks. I am moved by your honesty. Imagine a child trying to carry a bag that is too heavy. The child strains and struggles, determined not to ask for help. The loving father watches, not with anger, but with compassion. He steps closer, kneels down, and gently says, "Let me carry that with you." My beloved child, that is what I am saying to you now. Not because you are incapable, but because you were never meant to carry everything alone. There are burdens in your life that you can manage, and there are burdens that belong to me. You have been holding both. You have taken responsibility for outcomes you cannot control. You have tried to fix situations that require time and trust. You have blamed yourself for things beyond your power. Lay those heavy pieces down. Let me hold what you cannot. When you feel tired, it does not mean you are at the end. It means you have been carrying much for a long time. And I am not disappointed in your fatigue. I am drawing near to it. My strength flows most freely into hearts that admit they need it. You do not need to perform for me. You do not need to prove your worth. You already have it. Right now, as you listen, imagine me beside you. Not distant, not distracted. Close enough to touch. Close enough to steady you. Close enough to remind you that every weight you feel has been seen. Every silent tear has been counted. Every quiet act of perseverance has been witnessed. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. And you are not alone in this load. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing slow. I am here, my beloved child, and I am carrying this with you. My beloved child, there are moments when you feel like you are about to break. The pressure builds quietly at first. You tell yourself you can handle it. You push through another day. You silence your doubts. But then something small happens. A word, a delay, a disappointment, and suddenly it feels like everything inside you is cracking. You wonder if this is the moment when you finally fall apart. I want you to hear me clearly. Bending is not breaking. Think of a tall tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls against it. The rain beats down on its branches. From a distance, it looks as if the tree might snap in two. But watch closely. The tree bends and sways. It leans with the force of the wind. It does not resist in stiff pride. It yields just enough to survive. And when the storm passes, it is still standing. My beloved child, you are like that tree. The fact that you feel stretched does not mean you are destroyed. The tears you fight back do not mean you are defeated. The trembling in your heart does not mean you are losing. It means you are in a storm, and storms test what is rooted deep within you. Your roots go deeper than you know, because I have planted them myself. There are days when you feel emotionally thin, like glass that could shatter with one more touch. You may even be afraid of your own feelings, afraid that if you let them surface, they will overwhelm you. But I am not afraid of your emotions. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not shaken by your moments of doubt. I remain steady when you feel unsteady. You have believed that strength means holding everything in. You have thought that if you let yourself lean, even a little, you would collapse. But strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is trusting me enough to lean. When you say, "I cannot do this alone," you are not confessing failure. You are opening the door for my power to meet you. When you admit, "This hurts more than I expected," you are not disappointing me. You are inviting me into the wound so I can begin to heal it. I see how hard you try to keep going. I see how you replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you could have said something better. I see how you question your worth when things do not go as planned. I see how you fear that one more setback will prove that you are not strong enough. But listen to me now. You are not defined by your hardest moment. Even if you feel like you are barely holding yourself together, I am holding you together. There is a quiet grace surrounding you right now. You may not feel it as a surge of power. It may not come as a sudden burst of energy. Sometimes my strength is gentle. Sometimes it is simply the ability to take one more breath, one more step, one more honest prayer. That too is strength. Imagine a clay vessel placed in the hands of a skilled craftsman. When pressure is applied, it is not to destroy the clay but to shape it. The pressure reveals weak spots so they can be strengthened. It refines the structure. It prepares the vessel to carry something valuable. My beloved child, this season is not here to crush you. It is shaping you into someone who can carry deeper peace, deeper compassion, deeper resilience. You are not breaking beyond repair. You are being strengthened in ways you cannot yet measure. And even if you feel like you are at your limit, I am not at mine. So when the storm rages and your heart feels fragile, remember this: you may bend, but you will not break. I am the one who steadies your roots. I am the one who shields you from being torn away. I am the one who stands with you in every gust of wind. Hold on, my beloved child. The storm does not have the final word. I do. And I say you will stand. My beloved child, you have been measuring strength by the wrong scale. You have looked at others who seem unshaken, who speak boldly, who appear fearless, and you have told yourself, that is what strength looks like. You have judged your own trembling heart and concluded that you must be lacking. But listen to me carefully now. Strength is not always loud. It is not always visible. And it is rarely what the world applauds. True strength is often quiet. It is the mother who rises again after a sleepless night. It is the worker who shows up faithfully even when unappreciated. It is the wounded heart that chooses not to become bitter. It is the anxious soul that keeps trusting me, even while its hands shake. That is strength. You imagine strength as standing tall without tears. But sometimes strength is crying and still choosing to move forward. You think strength means never doubting. But sometimes strength is doubting and still choosing to believe that I am good. You think strength means having all the answers. But often, strength is walking into uncertainty while holding my hand. Picture a quiet river flowing through a canyon. It does not shout. It does not force its way with explosions. Yet over time, it carves through solid rock. Slowly, patiently, faithfully. The river's power is not in sudden noise but in steady persistence. My beloved child, that is the kind of strength I am forming in you. You may not feel powerful right now. You may not feel courageous. But every time you resist the urge to give up, every time you whisper a small prayer instead of surrendering to despair, every time you choose kindness over anger, you are carving through stone. You are becoming stronger than you realize. The world celebrates dramatic victories. It celebrates visible success and grand achievements. But I see the private victories. I see when you choose not to speak harsh words even though you are hurt. I see when you decide to try again after failure. I see when you get out of bed on a day you wanted to hide. Those moments are sacred to me. Strength is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward while fear whispers. Strength is not never falling. It is rising again with my help. Strength is not carrying everything alone. It is knowing when to let me carry you. There is a reason I allow you to feel your limits. If you believed you were self-sufficient, you would never discover the depth of my presence. If you thought you could handle every challenge alone, you would miss the sweetness of leaning on me. Your weakness is not a flaw in your design. It is an invitation to intimacy. My beloved child, I am not disappointed in your humanity. I created you with emotions, with needs, with the capacity to feel deeply. You were never meant to function like a machine. You were meant to live in relationship with me. When you say, I am tired, I do not respond with frustration. I respond with provision. When you say, I cannot see the way forward, I respond by guiding your next step. When you say, I feel small, I remind you that my strength is made perfect in what feels small to you. Let go of the image of strength that has been suffocating you. You do not need to be unbreakable. You need to be rooted. You do not need to be fearless. You need to be held. You do not need to shine brightly every day. You need to remain connected to me, the source of your light. Right now, in this tough moment, strength is growing inside you like a seed beneath the soil. It may not look impressive. It may not feel dramatic. But it is alive. It is real. And it is sustained by my presence. Trust this process, my beloved child. The strength you are receiving is deeper than emotion, stronger than circumstance, and more enduring than any storm. And when you look back one day, you will see that what you once called weakness was the very place where true strength began to rise. My beloved child, I know how loud fear can be. It does not whisper politely. It shouts. It interrupts your thoughts in the middle of the day. It wakes you in the middle of the night. It paints pictures of worst-case outcomes and tries to convince you they are inevitable. Fear speaks quickly, urgently, and with confidence. And sometimes you mistake its volume for truth. But I am closer to you than your fear. When your heart begins to race and your thoughts spiral into what-ifs, I am not standing at a distance waiting for you to calm yourself down. I am already there, steady and unshaken. Fear may feel near because you can sense it in your body. You feel it in your chest, in your stomach, in your restless mind. But my presence is deeper than sensation. I am nearer than the breath that rises and falls within you. Fear tells you that you are alone in this. It tells you that no one truly understands the pressure you feel. It tells you that if things go wrong, you will have no one to catch you. But that is not my voice. I do not isolate you. I draw close. Imagine a small child afraid of the dark. The room has not changed. The shadows remain. But when the father steps into the room and sits beside the child, something shifts. The darkness loses its power. The shadows no longer seem as threatening. The child's circumstances have not changed immediately, but the presence of the Father changes the experience completely. My beloved child, that is what my nearness does for you. I do not always remove the shadows at once, but I sit beside you in them. You may be afraid of failing, afraid of losing something you cherish, afraid that you are not prepared for what lies ahead. Fear tries to convince you that the future is a closed door. but I stand in your tomorrow before you ever arrive there. Nothing you will face catches me by surprise. When fear tells you you are not enough, remember that I am your sufficiency. When fear says this will crush you, remember that I am your support. When fear insists you cannot survive this, remember all the moments I have already carried you through. There were seasons before when you thought you would not make it. Times when you felt overwhelmed, uncertain, even shattered. Yet here you are. Not because you were fearless, but because I was faithful. Not because you were unshakable, but because I was steady. My beloved child, fear thrives in imagined futures. It grows strongest when you try to solve tomorrow before it arrives. But I give you strength for this moment. Not for 10 years from now. Not for every possible scenario your mind can create. Just for this step. Yes, for today. Come back to this breath. Feel the ground beneath you. You are here. And I am here with you. Let my voice become louder than your fear. I do not shout over it with panic. I speak with calm authority. I remind you that you are held. I remind you that you are guided. I remind you that you are loved beyond measure. You do not need to eliminate fear before you move forward. You simply need to move with me beside you. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is walking while trembling because you trust the one who walks with you. Lean into my presence right now. Picture me placing my hand over your racing heart, steadying its rhythm. Picture me standing between you and the threats your mind imagines. I am your shield. I am your peace. I am your constant companion. Fear may try to sit close to you, but it does not own your story. I do not step back when fear steps forward. I step closer. I surround you. I anchor you. I whisper truth into the spaces where fear tries to shout. And the truth is this, my beloved child, you are not alone, not now, not ever. I am closer than your fear, and my presence is stronger than any voice that rises against you. My beloved child, I know this feels like a battle. Some days it is visible, with clear challenges standing in front of you. Other days it is invisible, fought quietly within your thoughts and emotions. You wake up already tired, not because your body has no strength, but because your heart has been fighting for peace. And in those moments, it can feel as though you are standing alone on a battlefield, surrounded by noise, uncertainty, and pressure. But you are not alone in this battle. Even when no one else sees the conflict you are facing, I see it. When you smile in public and struggle in private, I remain with you in both spaces. There is not a single moment when you step onto that field by yourself. I walk beside you, not as a distant observer, but as your constant defender and guide. You may feel isolated because others do not fully understand what you are going through. They may offer advice that feels too simple for the complexity of your pain. They may expect you to recover quickly, to move on, to be strong. But I do not rush your healing. I do not measure your progress against anyone else's timeline. I stay. Imagine a narrow valley between high mountains. The path winds through shadows, and the walls on either side seem tall and unmovable. It is easy to feel small in such a place. It is easy to believe you are trapped. But when you walk through that valley with me, it is no longer a place of isolation. It becomes a place of companionship. I do not always remove the valley immediately. Sometimes we walk through it together, step by step, breath by breath. And as we walk, you begin to notice that the shadows do not consume you. The mountains do not close in. The path, though narrow, is steady beneath your feet. My beloved child, You have been stronger than you realize simply because you have kept walking. Even when your steps felt heavy, even when your motivation was low, even when your faith felt fragile. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking hope, is evidence that you are not defeated. There are battles you cannot win by striving harder. There are struggles that do not respond to sheer willpower. That is why I do not ask you to fight alone. I fight for you in ways you cannot see. I soften hearts. I redirect paths. I block dangers you never even knew were near. I work behind the scenes while you focus on taking the next step. When exhaustion sets in, do not mistake it for abandonment. When answers are delayed, do not assume I am absent. Some battles require endurance rather than speed. Some victories are quiet and gradual rather than dramatic and immediate. You may not see angels standing guard. You may not hear thunder announcing my intervention. But my presence is no less real because it is unseen. The greatest protections in your life have often been the ones you never noticed. Lay down the belief that you must handle everything perfectly. Lay down the fear that if you falter, everything will collapse. I am not relying on your flawless performance to secure your future. I am your security. When your thoughts become overwhelming, pause and remember that you do not face them alone. When decisions feel heavy, remember that I offer wisdom. When you feel misunderstood by others, remember that I understand you completely. My beloved child, this battle will not last forever. And even while it continues, you are not standing alone in it. I am at your side, strengthening your heart, steadying your steps, and guarding your path. You are accompanied. You are supported. You are defended. And with me beside you, no battle has the power to destroy you. My beloved child, I know that when you are in the middle of a hard season, it can feel endless. The days blur together. The challenges repeat themselves. The relief you hope for seems delayed again and again. You begin to wonder if this is simply how life will always be, heavy, demanding, uncertain. But listen to me carefully now. The weight you feel has an end. No night lasts forever. Even the longest night must surrender to the morning. There is a quiet moment before dawn when the darkness feels thickest, when it seems as though the sun has forgotten to rise. Yet beneath the horizon, light is already moving. You may not see it yet, but it is coming. In the same way, your relief may not be visible, but it is already on its way. When you carry something heavy for a long time, your muscles begin to ache. Your posture changes. You grow used to the strain. Sometimes you forget what it feels like to stand upright without tension. My beloved child, you have grown accustomed to carrying more than you were meant to carry alone. And because you have endured it for so long, you have started to believe it will never lift. But I am a God of seasons. Winter does not argue with spring. It does not resist the shift. It simply gives way when the time comes. The trees that looked lifeless begin to bloom again. The fields that seemed barren begin to show signs of green. The air itself changes. What once felt frozen begins to thaw. So it is with the season you are in. I do not waste your pain, but I also do not prolong it without purpose. There is a limit to the pressure. There is a boundary to the storm. There is a line that your struggle cannot cross. And I know exactly where that line is. You may ask, how much longer? And I understand that question. It comes from a tired heart. It comes from someone who hath been strong for a long time. But instead of measuring the days ahead, look at the strength you have already gained. Look at the resilience that has quietly formed within you. Look at the compassion you now carry for others who suffer. The weight has shaped you, but it will not stay forever. Imagine carrying a stone up a hill. With every step, it feels heavier. Your arms tremble. Your breathing becomes shallow. You are tempted to drop it and sit down. But when you reach the top and set the stone down, the relief is overwhelming. Your arms feel light. Your chest expands freely. You realize how strong you have become without even noticing. My beloved child, there is a moment ahead when you will set this burden down. There is a moment when you will look back and see that what once felt unbearable did not break you. It strengthened you and deepened you. It prepared you. Do not confuse delay with denial. Do not mistake waiting for abandonment. I am working in ways that are not always visible to you. I am aligning circumstances. I am preparing opportunities. I am shaping hearts, including yours. Hold on a little longer. Not because I want you to suffer more, but because the transition is closer than you think. The heaviness you feel today will not define your tomorrow. The pressure that surrounds you now will not surround you forever. Take one more step, then another. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need enough light for the step in front of you. And I will provide that light. The weight you feel has an end. The storm has a boundary. The night has a limit. And when the morning comes, my beloved child, you will stand in it stronger than before, able to breathe deeply again, able to smile without forcing it, able to move forward without that familiar strain. Trust me in this. The season will shift. The burden will lift. And you will see that I was faithful through every moment of it. My beloved child, I have seen every tear you have cried, the ones that fell freely, and the ones you quickly wiped away so no one else would notice. The tears that came in the quiet of the night, when you finally allowed yourself to feel what you had been holding in all day. The tears that surprised you, spilling over when you thought you were managing just fine. None of them have been wasted. You may think your tears are a sign of weakness. You may feel embarrassed by how deeply you feel. But I created your heart with the capacity to feel, to love, to care. Tears are not proof that you are fragile beyond repair. They are proof that your heart is alive. Imagine a dry field waiting for rain. The ground becomes hard, cracked, resistant. Seeds lie beneath the surface unseen and unmoving. Then the rain begins to fall. At first it seems messy. The soil turns to mud. The surface looks worse before it looks better. But beneath that softened ground, something begins to change. The water reaches the seeds. It awakens what was dormant. It prepares the field for growth. Your tears are like that rain. You may not see what they are doing. You may only feel the ache that caused them. But beneath the surface, something is being softened. Something is being prepared. Compassion is growing. Depth is forming. Resilience is taking root. I do not turn away from your sorrow. I draw near to it. When your voice trembles in prayer, I listen closely. When words fail you and all you can offer is a sigh, I understand it completely. There is no tear that falls without my awareness. There is no grief that escapes my attention. Sometimes you cry because you are overwhelmed. Sometimes because you are disappointed. Sometimes because you are tired of being strong. And sometimes you cry without fully knowing why. Emotions can be complex, layered, difficult to untangle. But I am not confused by them. I see the full picture of your heart. Do not rush yourself out of grief. Do not shame yourself for needing time. Healing is not a race. It is a process, and I walk through it with you. There are wounds that cannot be ignored or buried. They must be acknowledged, felt, and gently restored. I am patient with that process in you. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back at this season and realize that your tears were watering a future you could not yet see. The empathy you gain will allow you to comfort others. The understanding you develop will enable you to stand beside someone else in their pain and truly say, "I understand." Your sorrow will not define you, but it will deepen you. Even now, in the midst of your struggle, there is quiet transformation happening. Every tear is like a drop of surrender, a release of pressure, a softening of the soil of your heart. And from that softened ground, new strength will rise. I do not promise that you will never cry again, but I do promise that your tears are seen, valued, and held with care. I am not distant from your pain. I am present within it. Let yourself feel without fear of judgment. Let yourself grieve without believing you are failing. You are not weak because you weep. You are human, and you are loved. One day, joy will return in ways that surprise you. Laughter will feel natural again. Hope will rise more easily. And when the day comes, you will understand that the tears you once questioned were part of the journey toward healing. For now, rest in this truth. Nothing you feel is wasted in my hands. Not your sorrow, not your questions, not your longing. I gather it all. I redeem it. I transform it. Your tears matter, my beloved child, and through them, I am quietly bringing new life. My beloved child, I see the storm that has risen around you. I see how suddenly it came, how it disrupted your plans, how it unsettled your heart. One moment you felt steady, and the next you were caught in strong winds of uncertainty. The sky of your thoughts grew dark. The thunder of fear rolled through your mind. And now you find yourself asking how long you must endure this weather. Storms have a way of making everything feel urgent. They demand attention. They pull your focus toward what might go wrong. They make small problems appear larger than they are. And in the middle of it, you try to stand tall, bracing yourself against the force. You tighten your jaw. You rehearse solutions. You prepare for impact. But my beloved child, you were never meant to face the storm without shelter. I am your refuge. Picture a traveler walking across an open field when the wind begins to howl. Dust rises. Rain lashes against their face. The path disappears beneath rushing water. The traveler feels exposed, vulnerable, unsure of where to go next. But then, carved into the side of a great rock, there is a shelter. Solid, ancient, unmoved by centuries of storms. When the traveler steps inside, the storm does not vanish immediately, but its power no longer reaches them in the same way. That shelter is my presence. When you come into my refuge, the storm outside may still make noise, but it no longer has access to your peace. The winds may continue to blow, but they cannot uproot you. The rain may continue to fall, but it cannot drown your hope. In me, you are protected in ways you cannot always see. You have been trying to outrun the storm. You have been trying to fix everything before it grows worse. You have been exhausting yourself by predicting every possible outcome. But sometimes strength is not found in running faster. Sometimes it is found in stepping inside and resting. Rest does not mean surrendering to defeat. It means surrendering to trust. When your thoughts feel chaotic, come into my refuge. When anxiety grips your chest and makes it hard to breathe, come into my refuge. When you feel misunderstood, unheard, or overlooked, come into my refuge. You do not need perfect words to enter. You do not need unshakable faith. You simply need to turn your heart toward me. Nothing about this storm surprises me. I knew it would come before you felt the first drop of rain. I have already measured its strength. I have already set its limits. There is a boundary it cannot cross. There is a line it cannot pass. It may feel overwhelming to you, but it is not overwhelming to me. My beloved child, refuge is not escape from reality. It is protection within reality. It is the place where your strength is restored while the storm still rages. It is where your perspective is cleared so that fear does not distort the truth. It is where courage is rebuilt, not by force but by peace. You may think you must prove your resilience by standing alone in the wind. You may believe that seeking shelter is a sign of weakness. But even the strongest warrior rests in a fortress. Even the tallest tree grows best when shielded by deeper roots. Seeking refuge in me is wisdom, not failure. Come closer now. Imagine yourself stepping inside my presence. The noise begins to fade. Your breathing slows. The pounding of your heart eases. You feel steadiness beneath your feet again. Outside, the storm still moves, but inside there's calm. You do not have to explain yourself here. You do not have to defend your emotions. You do not have to pretend you are unaffected. In my refuge, you are fully known and fully safe. Let me be the rock that cannot be shaken. Let me be the covering that shields you. Let me be the quiet strength that surrounds you when everything else feels unstable. Stay here for a moment. Rest here. Allow your weary soul to recover. The storm will not last forever. And when it passes, you will step out not broken, but steadied. Not defeated, but strengthened. Because you did not face it alone. You found shelter. You found peace. You found me. I am your refuge, my beloved child. And within me you will endure every storm. My beloved child, you have listened to my words about the storm, about the weight, about the tears. Now I want you to do something simple but powerful. I want you to receive. You have been striving for strength. You have been trying to manufacture it within yourself. You have searched for it in productivity, in planning, in pushing harder. But the strength you need for this moment is not something you create. It is something I give. So pause with me right now. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw unclench. Let your thoughts slow down, even if only slightly. You do not have to solve tomorrow in this moment. You only need to be here with me. My beloved child, I am pouring strength into you even now. Not noisy strength, not aggressive strength, but steady, sustaining strength. The kind that allows you to stand when you thought you would collapse. The kind that gives you clarity when confusion tries to cloud your mind. The kind that brings peace into places that once felt chaotic. You may not feel a dramatic surge of energy. Sometimes my strength enters quietly, like oil poured over dry skin. It seeps in gently. It softens what has been tight. It restores what has been strained. It renews what hath been depleted. Open your heart to it. You have carried fear long enough. You have carried pressure long enough. And now let me carry you for a while. Let me steady your inner world. Let me remind your spirit that you are not abandoned in this tough moment. I strengthen you in your weakness. I fortify you in your uncertainty. I anchor you in your doubt. Even when you do not feel brave, I am building courage within you. Even when you feel small, I am expanding your capacity to endure. Right now, imagine me placing my hands upon your weary heart. Imagine warmth flowing through the places that feel cold with worry. Imagine light entering the corners of your mind where shadows have lingered. This is not imagination alone. It is spiritual reality. I am with you, and my presence carries power. You do not have to beg for my strength. You are my beloved child. I delight in strengthening you. I delight in lifting you when you are tired. I delight in seeing you rise again after you have fallen. So receive it. Receive the calm that steadies your breathing. Receive the confidence that whispers, "You will make it through." Receive the resilience that says, "Take one more step." Receive the quiet assurance that I am guiding you even when you cannot see the full path. This moment is not too heavy for us. This situation is not beyond my reach. There is no burden you carry that I cannot help you bear. Let my strength become your foundation. Let it replace the frantic striving with peaceful endurance. Let it remind you that you are supported from beneath and surrounded from above. My beloved child, you are not drawing strength from your own limited supply. You are drawing from me, and I do not run dry. I do not grow weary. I do not become overwhelmed. What I give you is more than enough for this hour. Stand in that truth now. Breathe in my peace. Breathe out your fear. Allow my strength to settle deeply within you. You are not barely surviving. You are being sustained. You are being fortified. You are being upheld. Receive my strength now, and know that I am with you in this tough moment, and in every moment still to come. If this message is strengthening your heart right now, then listen closely, my beloved child. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not giving to a platform. You are planting seeds into souls who are crying out for hope. As it is written, I say to you, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and your act of giving becomes rain on dry ground for someone else. I am inviting you in this very moment to become a river, not a reservoir. Let your obedience flow. Do not miss the holy opportunity to turn your gratitude into action. When you give, you ignite light in dark places you may never see, but I see. I multiply what is placed in my hands, and I breathe upon generous hearts. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning for countless weary travelers. Step into this blessing now. Strengthen others as you have been strengthened. Act in faith and sow. My beloved child, as you stand in this present moment, feeling the weight of what is before you, I want you to turn your eyes gently toward your past. Not to dwell there, not to reopen wounds, but to remember, you have survived more than you realize. There were days you thought would break you, moments when the pain felt sharper than anything you had known before, seasons when you questioned whether you would ever feel steady again. Yet here you are, breathing, listening, still hoping, even if hope feels fragile. You did not arrive at this moment by accident. You have walked through valleys before. You have faced disappointments that shook your confidence. You have endured losses that left empty spaces in your heart. And still, you continued forward. Not perfectly, not without tears, but you continued. Think back to a time when you said, I do not know how I will get through this. At the time, the future looked uncertain and intimidating, but step by step, you moved through it. Some days you crawled. Some days you stood tall. Some days you simply endured. Yet you made it. My beloved child, that was not solely your strength. That was my faithfulness woven into your story. You often underestimate your resilience because you remember how afraid you felt. You remember the sleepless nights and the anxious thoughts. You remember how unsure you were. But survival does not require the absence of fear. It requires persistence. And you persisted. Imagine a path carved through a dense forest. At first, it was not visible. Someone had to walk through thick branches and uneven ground again and again before the trail became clear. Your life is like that. Every hardship you have walked through has carved a path of endurance within you. What once felt impossible became a testimony of quiet strength. You may not feel strong today because you are focused on what still feels unresolved. But strength is not only proven by what you conquer today. It is revealed in the fact that you are still standing after yesterday. There were times when you felt abandoned, yet you were not alone. There were times when you felt weak, yet you were sustained. There were times when you doubted your ability to move forward, yet something inside you kept whispering, "Take one more step." That whisper was my presence guiding you. My beloved child, I want you to see yourself through my eyes for a moment. I do not see someone fragile and incapable. I see someone who has endured storms and learned compassion. I see someone who has been stretched and grown deeper roots. I see someone who has faced fear and continued anyway. You may have scars from past battles, but scars are evidence of healing. They are proof that wounds did not have the final word. They are reminders that pain visited you, but it did not destroy you. Right now, as you face this current challenge, the enemy of your peace may try to convince you that this time will be different. At this time you will not make it. At this time is too much. But remember your history. Remember the obstacles you once thought were insurmountable. Remember the doors that eventually opened. Remember the strength that slowly returned. The same faithfulness that carried you then is carrying you now. You are not starting from zero. You are not approaching this moment empty-handed. You carry experience. You carry wisdom. You carry lessons learned through tears and perseverance. You carry evidence that you can endure. Let that truth settle in your heart. You are stronger than you think, not because you are invincible, but because you are supported by me. So when doubt whispers that you cannot handle what lies ahead, answer it with remembrance. When fear suggests you will collapse, answer it with testimony. When exhaustion tells you to quit, answer it with the quiet confidence that you have survived before, and you will survive again. My beloved child, you have survived more than you realize, and the same grace that upheld you then is present with you now, steady and unchanging. My beloved child, I know the pressure you are feeling right now is uncomfortable. It presses against your patience. It tests your endurance. It stretches your faith in ways you did not expect. At times, it feels relentless, like waves that do not pause long enough for you to fully catch your breath. And in the quiet of your heart, you may be asking, why does it have to be this intense? Why does growth have to feel like this? I hear you. I understand the strain. But I want you to see what I see. This pressure is not here to crush you. It is here to grow you. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. From the outside, it looks as though nothing is happening. It is covered in darkness. It is surrounded by weight. If the seed had feelings, it might believe it was forgotten. It might believe the soil was suffocating it. But beneath the surface, something miraculous is taking place. The pressure of the soil, the resistance of the earth, forces the seed to break open. And in breaking open, it begins to grow. My beloved child, sometimes growth begins with breaking. Not breaking into pieces that are lost, but breaking open into something new. The pressure you feel is stretching you beyond old limitations. It is pushing you past familiar comfort. It is inviting you to depend on me more deeply than before. You see discomfort. I see development. You see delay. I see preparation. You see resistance. I see refinement. The very circumstances you wish would disappear may be forming strength in you that could not be built in ease. Consider how muscles are formed. They grow stronger through resistance. When weight is applied, the muscle fibers stretch and tear slightly. It is in the repair that strength increases. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without challenge, there is no deepening. In the same way, your inner life is being strengthened by what feels heavy. You are learning patience in ways you never had to before. You are discovering resilience you did not know you possessed. You are developing compassion because you now understand struggle more intimately. These qualities are treasures. They are not formed in comfort alone. Sometimes you expect growth to feel inspiring and uplifting at every stage. But often growth feels like tension. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like being stretched between who you were and who you are becoming. That in-between space can feel unstable. You may feel unsure of yourself, unsure of the future, unsure of how everything will unfold. But that space is sacred. It is where transformation takes root. Imagine a potter shaping clay on a wheel. The clay does not remain untouched. The potter applies steady, deliberate pressure. The clay spins. It is pressed, shaped, molded. Without that pressure, it would remain shapeless. With it, it becomes a vessel designed for purpose. The shaping is not punishment. It is intentional care. My beloved child, I am shaping you with love, not harshness. The pressure you feel is measured. It is not random. I know your limits better than you do. I know when to allow the process to continue and when to bring relief. I am not careless with your heart. You may not yet see the full picture of what is being formed within you. But one day, you will look back and recognize that this season strengthened your faith, clarified your values, and matured your character. It taught you what truly matters. It taught you how to lean on me instead of striving alone. You not despise this process simply because it is uncomfortable. Trees grow deeper roots when the winds challenge them. Gold is refined by fire that removes impurities. In the same way, your spirit is being refined, strengthened, and prepared. And remember this, my beloved child, you are not under pressure alone. I am with you in every moment of it. I am guiding the process. I am ensuring that what is produced in you is resilience, wisdom, and depth, not harm. The pressure you feel today will not last forever, but what it produces in you will remain. You are becoming stronger than you were yesterday. You are becoming steadier. You are becoming more anchored in me. Trust my hands in this. Trust that I am doing something beautiful beneath the surface. What feels heavy now is shaping a future version of you who will stand with greater confidence, deeper peace, and unshakable strength. My beloved child, there are battles surrounding your life that you cannot see. You are aware of the visible struggles, the conversations that weigh on you, the responsibilities that stretch you, the decisions that trouble your mind. But beyond what your eyes can perceive, there is movement. There is protection. There is intervention. And I am at work in ways you do not yet understand. You often measure progress by what is visible. If circumstances shift, you feel relief. If doors open, you feel hope. But when nothing seems to change, you may assume nothing is happening. That is not true. Just because you cannot see the battle does not mean it is not being fought. Imagine a child sleeping peacefully at night, unaware of the parent who checks the locks, who ensures the house is secure, who listens for unusual sounds. The child rests because someone else is watching. My beloved child, I watch over you in the same way. You do not see every danger that has been redirected. You do not see every closed door that protected you. You do not see every heart I am quietly softening on your behalf. There are conversations happening about you that you know nothing about. There are opportunities forming that have not yet reached your awareness. There are paths being cleared that you have not yet walked. And in all of it, I am present. Sometimes you grow weary because you believe everything depends on you. You think you must anticipate every outcome. You believe you must defend yourself from every possible threat. But you were never meant to carry that burden. There are battles that belong to me. When you lie awake at night replaying situations in your mind, I am already in tomorrow. When you fear that someone's opinion will determine your future, I am guiding outcomes beyond their control. When you worry that unseen forces are working against you, remember that unseen grace is working for you. My beloved child, not every victory is loud. Not every rescue is dramatic. Many of the greatest protections in your life have been quiet and unnoticed. A delay that frustrated you may have shielded you from harm. A rejection that hurt you may have redirected you towards something better. A closed door may have been my mercy in disguise. You do not need to know every detail of what I am doing in order to trust that I am doing something. Faith grows in spaces where sight is limited. Trust deepens when you release control. There is a peace available to you when you accept that you are not alone in defending your future. You are not alone in securing your destiny. You are not alone in confronting obstacles. I am your advocate. I am your protector. I am your defender. Picture a battlefield where the dust clouds your vision. You see only what is directly in front of you. But above the field, there is a wider perspective. From the height, movements are clear. Strategies are visible. Outcomes are anticipated. I see from that higher vantage point. I know how every piece fits together. You may feel small in the midst of what you face, but you are not vulnerable in the way you imagine. You are surrounded by my presence. You are covered by my promises. You are upheld by my strength. Release the need to fight every battle in your own power. Release the tension of believing it all depends on you. Do what is yours to do with integrity and courage, and then rest. Let me handle what is beyond your reach. My beloved child, I am fighting for you in realms you cannot see. I am aligning circumstances. I am guarding your path. I am ensuring that what is meant for you will not miss you. Trust me in the unseen. Rest in the unseen. Even when nothing appears to be shifting, know that movement is happening. You are not alone in this battle, and the one who stands for you is greater than anything that stands against you. My beloved child, you have been carrying so much for so long that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to be light. The burdens have become familiar. The worries have become routine. The tension in your shoulders feels normal now. But I did not create you to live in constant strain. I did not design your heart to be a storage place for unending pressure. There is something I am inviting you to do right now. Lay your burden at my feet. Not tomorrow. Not when everything feels calmer. Now. You have tried to manage it all. You have rehearsed conversations in your mind. You have calculated outcomes. You have carried responsibilities that belong to you and some that do not. You have taken on emotional weight that was never assigned to your soul. And because you care deeply, you keep picking it up again, even after you promised yourself you would let it go. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a heavy pack strapped tightly to their back. At first, they adjust to the weight. They tell themselves they can handle it. But as the miles stretch on, the load begins to press harder into their shoulders. Your steps slow. Your breathing grows shallow. Still, They refuse to set it down because they believe it is necessary for survival. Then they arrive at a place of rest, a safe place, a strong place, and the invitation is simple. Remove the pack. Set it down. Feel the relief. My beloved child, I am that place of rest for you. You may ask, how do I lay it down? It begins with honesty. Speak your worries to me without filtering them. Tell me what frightens you. Tell me what frustrates you. Tell me what exhausts you. You do not need polished prayers. You need open ones. When you release your burdens to me, it does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to control. There is a difference between responsibility and ownership. Some things require your effort. Others require your trust. You have been trying to hold outcomes in your hands. You have been trying to secure results. But your hands were not built to hold the entire future. Mine were. Lay down the fear of failing. Lay down the anxiety about what others think. Lay down the regret of what you cannot change. Lay down the pressure to fix everything immediately. One by one, release them to me. As you do, you may feel resistance. Part of you may fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But letting go in my presence is not abandonment. It is trust. It is saying, I believe you are able. Imagine placing each burden gently at my feet, not throwing them in frustration, not hiding them in shame, but deliberately placing them down. As you do, notice how your breathing changes. Notice how your chest feels less tight. Notice how your thoughts begin to slow. My beloved child, I am not asking you to carry your life alone. I am inviting you into partnership. Bring me your weakness, and I will exchange it for strength. Bring me your confusion, and I will offer guidance. Bring me your heaviness, and I will give you peace. You were never meant to be the savior of your own story. You were meant to be my beloved child, walking with me step by step. So lay it down now. The worry about tomorrow, the guilt from yesterday, the pressure of today. Place it in my hands. I am strong enough to hold what overwhelms you. I am wise enough to navigate what confuses you. I am faithful enough to carry what exhausts you. Rest your soul, my beloved child. The burden you have been gripping so tightly does not belong on your shoulders anymore. Let me carry it. And as you release it, you will discover that lightness was always meant to be part of your journey. My beloved child, there are moments when you look at yourself and feel disappointed. You notice where you hesitated. You remember what you said in frustration. You feel the weight of your limitations, and you quietly wonder if you are failing. You compare yourself to who you think you should be, and the distance feels discouraging. But I want you to hear me clearly. Your weakness is not failure. You have been taught to hide weakness, to cover it, to pretend it does not exist. The world often celebrates strength that appears flawless and self-sufficient. It rewards confidence that never trembles and endurance that never seems to tire. And so, when you feel fragile, when you feel unsure, you assume something is wrong with you. But weakness is not the end of your story. It is often the doorway to deeper strength. Imagine a clay jar with a small crack along its side. At first glance, you might think it is ruined. You might think it cannot serve its purpose anymore. But now imagine a light placed inside the jar. Through the crack, the light shines out in a way it never could before. What looked like a flaw becomes a place where beauty escapes. My beloved child, some of the places you consider weaknesses are actually openings where my light shines through you. When you admit you are tired, you make room for me to refresh you. When you acknowledge you are uncertain, you make space for me to guide you. When you confess you cannot handle everything alone, you open your hands for my strength to fill them. If you were always strong in your own power, you would not seek mine. If you were always certain, you would not learn to trust. Your weakness draws you closer to me. It keeps your heart soft. It keeps you dependent in a way that protects you from pride and isolation. There is no shame in needing help. There is no condemnation in feeling overwhelmed. You are human. I formed you from dust and breathed life into you. I know your frame. I understand your limits. I do not expect you to function as if you are limitless. My beloved child, I do not measure you by the moments you stumble. I see the intention of your heart. I see your desire to grow. I see the effort you put forth even when you feel unsure. And I am pleased with your sincerity. Think of a child learning to walk. The child wobbles. The child falls. The child tries again. A loving father does not scold a child for falling. He smiles, reaches out his hands, and encourages the next step. Each fall is part of the learning. Each attempt builds strength. So it is with you. When you feel weak, do not run from me in shame. Run toward me in honesty. Tell me where you struggle. Tell me where you doubt. Tell me where you feel inadequate. I am not surprised by any of it, and I am not disappointed. Your weakness becomes powerful when it meets my grace. What you lack, I supply. Where you are uncertain, I steady you. Where you are fragile, I protect you. You are not disqualified because you feel small. You are positioned for transformation. Do not label yourself a failure because you are still learning. Growth is a process. Strength develops over time. Maturity unfolds through experience. You are in motion. You are becoming. My beloved child, let go of harsh self-judgment. Let go of the belief that you must be perfect to be worthy. You are already loved. You are already accepted. You are already mine. Your weakness does not repel me. It draws me closer. And in that sacred exchange, your weakness for my strength, you will discover that what once felt like failure was actually the beginning of deeper trust, deeper humility, and deeper power. You are not failing. You are growing. And I am with you every step of the way. My beloved child, when you look at your life right now, you see only a single page. You see the paragraph that feels confusing. You see the sentence that seems unfinished. You see the chapter that does not make complete sense. And because you cannot see the whole book, you are tempted to believe that this difficult moment is the final summary of your story. But I am writing a greater story than you can see. You measure your life by what is happening today. I measure it by the fullness of what it is becoming. You focus on the chapter you are in. I hold the entire narrative in my hands. There are pages you have already lived that prepared you for this moment. There are chapters still unwritten that will reveal why this season mattered. Imagine reading a novel and stopping in the middle of a tense chapter. The main character seems trapped. The conflict appears overwhelming. There is no visible solution yet. If you close the book there, you might think the story ends in despair. But the author has not finished writing. There is resolution coming. There is growth unfolding. There is redemption ahead. My beloved child, your story is not finished. You may not understand why certain events unfolded the way they did. You may question why some prayers were not answered in the timing you hoped for. You may carry disappointment about dreams that shifted or plans that changed. But I see how every thread weaves together. I see how even the painful chapters contribute to the depth of your character. Nothing in your life is wasted when placed in my hands. Not the mistakes, not the detours, not the seasons of waiting. I am able to take what feels fragmented and weave it into something meaningful. There were moments in your past when you thought you had reached the end of your strength. Yet those moments became turning points. They shaped your perspective. They softened your heart. They clarified what truly matters. What felt like an ending was actually a transition. Right now, you may feel like you are in a chapter filled with tension. Questions linger. Solutions seem delayed. But tension in a story does not mean the author has lost control. It means something significant is being built. My beloved child, I am not hurried as I write your life. I am intentional. I know when to allow quiet seasons and when to introduce change. I know when to stretch you and when to let you rest. Every page and purpose. You are not a random collection of events. You are a carefully crafted narrative of grace, resilience, and transformation. The hardships you face now will one day become part of your testimony. The lessons you are learning will one day guide someone else through their darkness. Trust the author of your story. When you cannot see how the pieces fit together, trust that they do. When you feel uncertain about the direction, trust that the path is being shaped with wisdom beyond your understanding. When you are tempted to give up because this chapter feels too heavy, remember that the next chapter may hold joy you cannot yet imagine. I am writing a story in your life that includes redemption. It includes growth. It includes restoration. It includes strength that was born from struggle. Do not define your future by a single paragraph. Do not assume the ending based on a difficult page. There is more ahead. There is beauty still unfolding. There are blessings still forming. My beloved child, hold on to hope. Keep turning the page with me. Allow me to continue the work I have begun. You are part of something larger than this moment. The story I am writing through you is not one of defeat, but of perseverance. Not one of abandonment, but of presence. Not one of failure, but of transformation. Trust me as your author. The greater story is still being written, and it will be filled with my faithfulness from beginning to end. My beloved child, there are many voices competing for your attention. Some are external, coming from the opinions and expectations of others. Some are internal, rising from memories, insecurities, and imagined outcomes. And among those voices, fear often tries to take the lead. It speaks quickly. It speaks urgently. It speaks with intensity. If you are not careful, you may begin to believe that the loudest voice is the truest one. But do not let fear speak louder than me. Fear will tell you that you are not ready. I tell you that I am preparing you. Fear will say that you will fail. I remind you that I am with you. Fear will insist that you are alone. I declare that you are deeply loved and continually guided. The volume of a voice does not determine its authority. Imagine standing in a crowded marketplace. Vendors shout to grow attention. Each one claims their product is the best, their offer the most urgent. The noise is overwhelming. But in the middle of that chaos, imagine hearing the calm, steady voice of someone you trust. You recognize it immediately. It does not need to shout. It carries weight because of relationship. My beloved child, you know my voice. You have felt it before in moments of peace that did not make logical sense. You have heard it in gentle convictions that redirected you from harm. You have recognized it in quiet encouragement when you felt like giving up. My voice does not pressure you with panic. It steadies you with truth. Fear thrives in exaggeration. It paints the worst-case scenario as inevitable. It magnifies uncertainty until it feels unbearable. It takes one possibility and presents it as a guaranteed outcome. But fear does not see the full picture. It sees fragments and assumes the rest. I see everything. When fear whispers, "This will never change," remember that you do not see what I am already arranging. When fear says, "You cannot handle this," remember how many times you have already endured. When fear claims, "There is no way forward," remember that paths often appear step by step, not all at once. You do not silence fear by pretending it is not there. You silence it by answering it with truth. And my truth is this: you are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not incapable. Picture a stormy sea. The wind howls, and waves crash loudly against the boat. The noise is overwhelming. But beneath the surface, in the deep waters, there is stillness. The surface may be chaotic, but the depths remain calm. My voice is like those deep waters. It is steady beneath the noise. My beloved child, you must choose which voice you will amplify. You cannot always control what thoughts enter your mind, but you can choose which ones you dwell on. When fear presents its case, bring it into my presence. Lay it before me. Let my truth respond. Spend time listening for me, in stillness, in prayer, in reflection. My voice grows clearer when you quiet the distractions. It does not compete aggressively. It invites gently. You were not created to be ruled by fear. You were created to walk in trust. That does not mean you will never feel afraid. It means fear will not govern your decisions. It will not dictate your identity. It will not determine your future. My beloved child, let my words settle deeper than the anxious whispers around you. Let my promises carry more weight than imagined outcomes. Let my presence calm what fear tries to stir. You are held. You are guided. You are strengthened. Do not let fear speak louder than me. My voice carries truth, peace, and life. And when you choose to listen closely, you will find that my steady whisper is stronger than any shout of doubt. My beloved child, I know there are places within you that feel empty, not broken beyond repair, but worn, not destroying, but depleted. You have been giving and giving, trying and trying, enduring and enduring. And somewhere along the journey, you began to feel as though your inner reserves were running low. The smile takes more effort. The motivation requires more intention. The joy that once came easily now feels distant. I see it all, and I am restoring what was drained. You were never created to operate without renewal. Even the strongest river must be fed by a source. Even the brightest flame must be supplied with fuel. When the source is ignored, when the flame is left untended, exhaustion follows. My beloved child, you have poured yourself out in many directions: responsibilities, relationships, expectations, private battles no one else knows about. And though your giving came from love and determination, you forgot that you also need replenishing. Come back to the source. Imagine a well that has been drawn from daily. Bucket after bucket is lifted. Water after water is given away. Eventually, someone looks inside and sees the level is low. They may panic, thinking the well is failing. But often, the well is not failing. It simply needs time to refill from the underground spring that feeds it. I am that spring in your life. Restoration does not always arrive in a rush. It begins quietly. A deeper breath, a calmer thought, a moment of unexpected gratitude, a small return of hope. These are the first drops of renewal. You may overlook them because they seem small, but they are powerful signs that I am at work. You may not realize how heavy the weariness hath been until it begins to lift. Sometimes exhaustion becomes so familiar that you mistake it for your personality. You think, this is just who I am now, tired, stretched, limited. But that is not your identity. You are my beloved child, and I do not leave my children drained without restoration. I restore your energy when your body feels weak. I restore your focus when your thoughts feel scattered. I restore your joy when discouragement has lingered too long. I restore your faith when questions have made you uncertain. Nothing that has been poured out in love is lost. I refill what you have given. Think of a field after harvest. It looks barren. The crops are gone. The soil appears tired. But beneath the surface, nutrients are quietly returning. Rain nourishes the ground. The sun warms it again. What looked empty is actually being prepared for new life. My beloved child, your soul is like that field. What seems barren is simply in a season of renewal. Do not criticize yourself for needing rest. Even the rhythm of day and night speaks of renewal. Even the changing seasons declare that no condition remains forever. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to receive. You are allowed to be filled again. Sit with me. Breathe slowly. Let my presence settle around you. Imagine light flowing gently into the spaces that feel hollow. Imagine warmth replacing cold fatigue. Imagine strength rising not from your effort, but from my steady supply. You do not have to strive for restoration. You remain near me, and restoration comes. You open your heart, and I refill it. You release the pressure to perform, and I breathe peace into your spirit. My beloved child, what was drained will not stay empty. What feels lost will not remain missing. I am a restorer. I rebuild what was worn thin. I strengthen what has grown fragile. I revive what feels lifeless. Trust this gentle process. Even now, while you listen, renewal is unfolding within you. Energy is being restored. Hope is being rekindled. Joy is quietly returning. You are not finished. You are not fading. You are being renewed. And as I restore what was drained, you will rise again, not forced, not frantic, but steady, replenished, and strengthened for what lies ahead. My beloved child, when you find yourself in the middle of a difficult season, it is natural to question the meaning of it all. You look around at your circumstances and see obstacles. You look within and feel fatigue. You look ahead and see uncertainty. And quietly, perhaps even painfully, you ask, what is the purpose of this? Why am I here? I do not turn away from that question. I lean closer to it. Even here, there is purpose. Purpose is not always visible in the moment. It rarely announces itself with immediate clarity. Often, it works beneath the surface of your understanding, forming something deeper than what you can see. Think of roots growing beneath the soil. When you look at a tree, you see its height, its branches, its leaves swaying in the wind. But what holds it upright during storms is hidden underground. The roots stretch wider and dig deeper in ways no one applauds or notices. Right now, roots are growing in you. You may feel like nothing is happening because there is no visible progress. You may feel stuck in repetition, waiting for change that has not yet arrived. But unseen growth is still growth. Patience is taking root. Wisdom is spreading quietly through your thoughts. Endurance is strengthening your spirit. My beloved child, there are truths you only discover in difficulty. Comfort can sometimes keep your faith shallow. Ease can sometimes prevent you from asking deeper questions. But when life feels uncertain, you begin to search. You reflect. You examine your priorities. You seek me in ways that comfort alone might not have inspired. Even your disappointments carry instruction. Even your delays carry direction. Even your struggles carry shaping power. Imagine a sculptor standing before a large block of stone. To the untrained eye, the stone looks solid and complete, but the sculptor sees something hidden within it, a form waiting to emerge. With careful strikes of a chisel, pieces fall away. The process looks destructive at first, just scatters, edges break. Yet with every strike, the true shape becomes clearer. I see the form within you. Some of what feels like loss is actually removal of what no longer serves your growth. Some of what feels like delay is preparation for something better aligned with your future. Some of what feels like confusion is clearing space for clarity that is not yet ready to be revealed. You may not understand why certain opportunities closed. You may not see why certain relationships shifted. You may not know why your timeline has unfolded differently than you expected. But I am not careless with your life. I do not move without intention. Every chapter, even the challenging ones, has meaning in the larger story. Waiting itself has purpose. It teaches trust when answers are not immediate. It develops resilience when outcomes are uncertain. It slows your pace so you can realign your heart. Waiting stretches your faith beyond what is comfortable and invites you to lean on me rather than your own control. My beloved child, you are not wasting time. You are not falling behind. You are not forgotten in some overlooked corner of life. You are in process, and process always carries purpose. One day, you will look back on this season and see threads you cannot see now. You will recognize how it strengthened your discernment. You will notice how it softened your heart toward others. You will understand how it prepared you for responsibilities and blessings that required deeper roots. For now, you do not need full understanding. You need trust. Trust that I am present even when you feel uncertain. Trust that I am shaping even when you feel still. Trust that I am guiding even when you cannot see the next step clearly. Even here, in the questions, in the waiting, in the discomfort, there is purpose. Even here, growth is unfolding quietly. Even here, I am at work in your heart and circumstances. You are not stuck. You are being formed. You are not lost. You are being led. And what is developing within you during this season will one day stand strong, steady, and meaningful beyond what you imagined. Hold on to that truth, my beloved child. Even here, there is purpose, and I am guiding every unseen step. My beloved child, there are moments when life feels unstable beneath your feet. Plans shift. People change. Circumstances move in directions you did not expect. And when that happens, a quiet fear rises within you, the fear that you might fall behind, fall apart, fall into something you cannot recover from. That fear can feel so real, so convincing, that you begin to brace yourself for impact before anything has even happened. But listen to me carefully now, you are held securely. You are not standing alone on fragile ground. You are not balancing on a narrow edge without support. Even when your emotions sway, even when your confidence wavers, you are not unsupported. My hands are beneath you in ways you do not always recognize. Imagine a child learning to walk across uneven ground. The child's steps are uncertain. The path is not perfectly smooth. The child may stumble, but a loving father walks close behind, hands gently extended, ready to steady, ready to lift. The child may feel the wobble, but the father feels no panic. It knows he's close enough to catch. My beloved child, I am closer than that. There have been times in your life when you were certain everything would collapse. Moments when you thought one more disappointment would undo you completely. Yet you are still here. You were upheld. You were sustained. You were strengthened beyond what you believed possible. That was not chance. That was my steady grip around your life. Sometimes you expect security to feel dramatic, like a sudden rescue or a visible miracle. But often, security feels quiet. It is the strength that appears at the right time, the calm that settles unexpectedly, the support that arrives through a conversation, an opportunity, a renewed perspective. My presence often works beneath the surface, holding you in ways you cannot immediately see. My beloved child, difficulty does not equal abandonment. Challenge does not equal instability. A storm can shake branches without uprooting the tree. Waves can strike the shore without moving the mountain. You may feel movement around you, but your foundation remains firm because I am that foundation. When you worry about the future, remember that I am already there. When you fear the consequences of your mistakes, remember that my grace is greater than any misstep. When you imagine worst-case outcomes, remember that your life is not held by chance, it is held by me. You are not suspended by a thin thread of luck. You are secured by unwavering love. Picture a strong anchor dropped deep into the ocean floor. Above the surface, winds may blow and waves may crash. The boat may rock from side to side. But beneath the visible chaos, the anchor remains firm. The boat is not drifting aimlessly. It is tethered securely. I am your anchor in every season. You may feel emotional waves. You may experience seasons of doubt. You may walk through moments of uncertainty. But you are not drifting without direction. You are not one misstep away from ruin. You are held. Even when you question yourself, I do not question my hold on you. Even when you feel fragile, I see you as protected. Even when you doubt your ability to endure, I know the strength that surrounds you. Release the fear of falling apart. Release the belief that everything depends on your flawless performance. You are not holding your life together by your own strength alone. I am carrying you in ways seen and unseen. Let this truth settle deep within you. Let it calm the restless thoughts that imagine collapse. Let it steady the trembling places in your heart. You are not fragile glass about to shatter. You are supported from beneath and surrounded from every side. My beloved child, you are not on the edge of destruction. You are in the embrace of a faithful Father. No storm can pry you from my hands. No failure can disqualify you from my care. No uncertainty can remove you from my protection. You are held securely. In every season. In every struggle. In every step. And my grip on you does not weaken. My beloved child, when you walk through long seasons of uncertainty, it can begin to feel as though everything is shifting beneath your feet. What once felt clear now feels blurred. What once felt secure now feels fragile. And in those moments, a quiet question may rise within you. Do the promises still apply to me? Has something changed? I want you to listen carefully and let this truth settle deeply into your heart. My promises still stand. They do not bend under pressure. They do not expire with time. They are not withdrawn because of your weakness. What I have spoken over your life is not temporary encouragement. It is enduring truth. You live in a world where words are often broken. People promise and then forget. Plans are made and then abandoned. Trust has been shaken in your past because someone failed to follow through. And sometimes, without realizing it, you allow the disappointment to color the way you view me. You may wonder if I will change my mind, if I will grow distant, if I will fail to act. But I am not like the shifting shadows of human promises. I do not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. I do not withdraw my word because the path grows difficult. What I declare remains steady. Think of the sun rays. Every morning, whether you see it clearly or not, the sun rises. Some days the sky is bright and cloudless. Other days thick clouds hide its light. Yet the sun has not stopped shining simply because you cannot see it fully. In the same way, my promises remain active even when your present situation feels overcast. My beloved child, there were times in your past when you felt certain that everything would collapse. You questioned whether you would recover from certain losses. You doubted your ability to endure specific hardships. Yet here you were. You were carried. You were strengthened. You were sustained. Those were not coincidences. They were quiet fulfillments of my promise to remain with you. You may not always recognize fulfillment when it comes. Sometimes it arrives in a different form than you expected. A door you wanted to open may have closed, only for another path to appear later that was better aligned with your growth. A delay that frustrated you may have protected you from harm. An unanswered request may have been my way of redirecting you toward something greater. My promises do not always unfold on your timeline, but they never dissolve. When I say I am with you, that is not conditional. It does not depend on your mood, your strength, or your consistency. When I say I will guide you, it does not mean you will never feel uncertain. It means you will never walk without direction. When I say I will strengthen you, it does not mean you will never feel tired. It means you will not be abandoned in your weakness. My beloved child, do not measure my faithfulness by your current emotions. Emotions shift like wind. Truth stands like stone. When you feel confident, my promises stand. When you feel fragile, my promises stand. When you are certain, my promises stand. When you are unsure, my promises still stand. There will be moments when doubt tries to reinterpret your story. It will whisper that nothing is changing, that nothing is working, that nothing is secure. But answer doubt with remembrance. Recall the times I have carried you before. Recall the unexpected provisions. Recall the peace that arrived in the middle of chaos. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. Roots grow unseen before fruit appears. Just because you do not yet see visible evidence does not mean nothing is happening. Beneath the soil of your present circumstances, my promises are taking root. I am not careless with your life. I do not abandon what I begin. I do not revoke what I have declared in love. My beloved child, hold tightly to what I have spoken. Let it anchor you when waves rise. Let it steady you when fear attempts to shake your confidence. Let it remind you that your life is not built on fragile hopes, but on faithful truth. My promises still stand over you. They stand in your confusion. They stand in your waiting. They stand in your growth. And they will continue to stand long after this season has passed. My beloved child, sometimes the hardest instruction is not to leap forward, not to solve everything, not to carry the whole mountain at once, but simply to take one more step. When you look too far ahead, your heart can become overwhelmed. The path stretches beyond what you can clearly see. Questions crowd your mind. What if I fail? What if I choose wrong? What if I do not have what it takes? And in that flood of uncertainty, you may feel tempted to stop altogether, to pause indefinitely, to wait until you feel stronger, braver, more certain. But strength rarely arrives before movement. It often meets you as you move. My beloved child, You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need light for the next step. I am not asking you to solve your future tonight. I am not demanding that you have every answer prepared. I am simply inviting you to move forward in trust, one step at a time. Think of a traveler walking through fog. The mist hides the distance. The horizon is unclear. If the traveler insists on seeing the entire journey before moving, they will remain frozen. But if they take one careful step, the ground beneath their feet becomes clear. Then another step, and another. The fog may remain ahead, but the path immediately before them is revealed. That is how I lead you. You may feel small right now. You may feel as though your courage is thin. But courage is not the absence of trembling. It is movement despite trembling. It is obedience despite uncertainty. It is trust expressed in action. Taking one more step might mean making a phone call you have been avoiding. It might mean applying for something you doubt you are qualified for. It might mean having an honest conversation. It might mean simply getting out of bed when discouragement tries to keep you still. The step does not have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Do not underestimate small progress. Mountains are climbed one foothold at a time. Rivers are crossed one stride at a time. Healing unfolds one decision at a time. You are not required to sprint. You are invited to continue. My beloved child, I walk beside you as you take each step. I do not stand at the finish line demanding that you hurry. I move with you. When your pace is slow, I match it. When your confidence wavers, I steady you. When fear tries to freeze you, I whisper, just one more step. Sometimes the breakthrough you long for is waiting just beyond the next movement. Not because you earned it through effort alone, but because movement positions you to receive what I have prepared. You may worry that your step will be imperfect, that you might stumble. But remember, I am not asking for perfection. I am inviting participation. If you stumble, I will lift you. If you hesitate, I will encourage you. What matters is not flawless execution. It is willingness. Even small obedience builds momentum. Even modest courage strengthens your spirit. Each step teaches you that you are capable of more than fear predicted. My beloved child, do not remain paralyzed by imagining every possible outcome. Focus on what is in front of you. What is the next faithful action? What is the next responsible decision? What is the next expression of trust? Take that step. And then, when the time comes, take another. You are not alone in this movement. You are not walking into uncertainty without guidance. I am with you in every stride. I see the terrain ahead. I know where it leads. So breathe deeply. Quiet the noise of overwhelming thoughts. Fix your eyes on what is immediately before you. Take one more step, my beloved child. And as you do, you will discover that the strength you thought you lacked begins to rise with each forward motion. My beloved child, I know how easily your thoughts can become crowded. One concern leads to another. One responsibility connects to 10 more. Before you realize it, your mind feels like a room filled with noise, and your heart struggles to find stillness. You try to calm yourself, but the more you attempt to control every thought, the more restless you feel. In those moments, peace can seem far away, like something meant for quieter lives. But listen to me gently and clearly. I am breathing peace into you. Peace is not the removal of every problem. It is not a life free from responsibility. It is my presence settling over your spirit in the midst of everything you face. It is the steady reminder that you are not navigating this alone. It is the assurance that even when your mind is busy, your soul can be anchored. Pause with me now. Take a slow breath in. Feel the air fill your lungs deeply. Then release it slowly. As you breathe, imagine that I'm breathing with you. Each inhale carries my calm into your body. Each exhale releases tension you have been gripping without realizing it. Your body and your spirit are connected, my beloved child. When your thoughts race, your body tightens. When fear whispers, your breathing shortens. But just as anxiety can move through you, so can peace. Peace can flow into your muscles, your heartbeat, your thoughts. Picture a lake at dawn. The surface is smooth and reflective, like glass. The sky mirrors perfectly upon it. When wind blows, ripples form and distort the reflection. But when the wind quiets, the water becomes still again. Your mind can feel like that lake. Worries create ripples. Fear disturbs clarity. But when my presence rests upon you, stillness returns. You do not need to force peace. You receive it. There are tasks waiting for you. There are conversations you must have. There are decisions that require thought. But none of these demand that you live in constant inner turmoil. You can move through responsibility while carrying calm within you. When anxious thoughts begin to multiply, bring them to me one at a time. Do not let them stack into a mountain without releasing them. Speak them honestly. Tell me exactly what troubles you. I am not overwhelmed by your concerns. I am not impatient with your fears. My beloved child, peace is not passivity. It is strength that does not panic. It is courage that does not rush. It is clarity that grows when you slow down long enough to listen. Imagine me placing my hand gently over your heart. Feel the warmth of my presence spreading through you. The racing thoughts begin to soften. The tightness in your chest loosens. The heaviness in your shoulders lightens. You are not being asked to pretend everything is fine. You are being invited to trust that I am present within it all. If your mind drifts back to worry, gently guide it back to truth. Remind yourself, I am held. I am guided. I am loved. Let those words sink deeper than the fears that try to rise. You do not need to anticipate every outcome tonight. You do not need to solve next month's challenges today. Remain here, in this breath, in this moment. Peace grows in presence, not in prediction. My beloved child, I am breathing peace into places that have felt restless for too long. I am calming what has been stirred. I am quieting what has been loud. Even if the external circumstances remain the same for now, your inner world can become steady. Stay here a little longer. Let the silence stretch gently. Let your breathing deepen. Let my nearness anchor you. Peace is not distant from you. It is within reach because I am within reach. You carry my presence wherever you go. When anxiety tries to return, come back to this breath. Come back to this awareness. I am breathing peace into you now, and the peace will steady your steps, clear your thoughts, and strengthen your heart for whatever lies ahead. My beloved child, when you look at your life right now, you mostly see the unfinished parts. You see the struggles that still ache. You see the questions that remain unanswered. You see the weaknesses you wish were gone. But I see something more. I see a story unfolding, one that carries weight, depth, and quiet power. And I tell you with tenderness and certainty, your story will inspire others. You may feel as though you are simply trying to survive this season. You may not feel strong enough to lead anyone or wise enough to guide anyone. But inspiration is not born from perfection. It is born from perseverance. It is not crafted from flawless victories. It is shaped through honest endurance. Think about the moments when someone else's testimony encouraged you. Perhaps you heard how they walked through loss and did not lose hope. Perhaps you listened to how they faced fear and still moved forward. Something inside you stirred when you realized they were human, just like you. Their story gave you permission to believe that survival was possible. My beloved child, one day your story will do the same for someone else. The tears you have cried are not meaningless. The nights when sleep would not come because your mind was heavy, those moments matter. The times you whispered prayers when you felt too tired to speak out loud, those prayers are part of a greater narrative. Even the doubts you wrestled with are shaping a testimony of resilience. You do not need a stage to inspire. You do not need recognition or applause. Often, the most powerful stories are shared in quiet conversations. A friend sitting across from you, feeling overwhelmed, and you gently saying, "I understand. I have been there." A simple moment of empathy can carry more power than 1,000 speeches. My beloved child, your compassion is being formed through what you face. You are learning how it feels to wait without clear answers. You are learning how it feels to carry responsibility while feeling uncertain. You are learning how it feels to doubt and still choose trust. These lessons are not wasted on you alone. They are shaping you into someone who can stand beside others with genuine understanding. Imagine a traveler walking through a dark valley. Along the way, they stumble, they hesitate. They even consider turning back. But they continue. When they finally reach the other side, they know where the path narrows, where the stones are loose, where light breaks through. Later, when another traveler approaches that same valley, they are able to say, "I have walked this road. Let me show you where to step." That is what your journey is preparing you for. You may not yet see the full impact of your endurance. Influence often grows quietly. It spreads through conversations, through attitudes, through the way you respond to hardship. When you choose patience instead of bitterness, someone notices. When you choose hope instead of despair, someone feels encouraged. When you admit your struggle but refuse to give up, someone else feels less ashamed of their own. My beloved child, your vulnerability will become strength for others. When you share how you felt weak but were carried through, someone else will believe they too can endure. When you speak honestly about fear but testify about faithfulness, someone else will find courage. Do not dismiss your journey as ordinary. Do not minimize your growth because it feels gradual. Every quiet decision to trust me is shaping a story worth telling. Every step you take in obedience becomes part of a path others can follow. One day, you will look back and see how this season refined you. You will notice how your empathy deepened. You will recognize how your patience expanded. You will understand that what once felt like survival was actually preparation. For now, simply continue walking with me. Let me keep strengthening you. Let me keep shaping your heart. The story being written through your perseverance will carry hope into places you may never personally witness. My beloved child, you are not enduring in vain. You are becoming a living testimony of my faithfulness. And your story, honest, imperfect, resilient, will inspire hearts in ways far beyond what you can imagine today. My beloved child, waiting is one of the hardest assignments for your heart. Movement feels productive. Action feels powerful. Progress feels reassuring. But waiting can feel like standing still while time moves forward without you. It can feel like watching others advance while you remain in the same place. And in that stillness, doubts often grow louder. But I am asking you to trust me in the waiting. Waiting is not punishment. It is not neglect. It is not a sign that you have been forgotten. Waiting is often preparation, It is the quiet space where roots deepen before branches expand. It is the hidden season where strength forms before opportunity appears. Think of a seed planted beneath the soil. After it is buried, nothing visible happens for a time. From the outside, it looks as though the ground is unchanged. But beneath the surface, the seed is breaking open. Roots are stretching downward. Foundations are forming. If the seed were to rise too quickly without roots, it would not survive the first strong wind. My beloved child, your waiting is forming roots. You may want immediate answers. You may want clear timelines. You may want reassurance that everything will unfold exactly as you hope. But if I revealed every detail at once, you would not need trust. And trust is what anchors your heart to me. Waiting stretches you. It exposes impatience. It reveals fears. It shows you where you rely on outcomes more than on relationship. Yet in that stretching, your faith matures. You learn to rest without constant proof. You learn to remain steady without visible confirmation. There is growth in the quiet. You may feel as though you are wasting time. You may wonder if you should be doing more, pushing harder, forcing doors open. But forcing what is not ready can create instability. Rushing what is not prepared can lead to regret. Imagine a craftsman shaping wood into something beautiful. The process requires patience. The wood must be cut, sanded, treated, and sometimes left to settle before the next step begins. If right, crafts may form. If hurried, the final structure may weaken. My beloved child, I am crafting something in your life that requires timing. Trust does not mean you enjoy waiting. It means you remain connected to me while you wait. In the waiting, I teach you to listen more closely. In the waiting, I teach you to release control. In the waiting, I teach you that your identity is not tied to constant motion. Look back at your life. There were seasons you once thought lasted too long. Yet when you look now, you see how those seasons prepared you for what followed. You see how they shaped your character, clarified your desires, refined your direction. What felt slow was actually strategic. My beloved child, your waiting has purpose. It is not empty space. It is sacred preparation. You are not behind schedule. You are not overlooked. You are not delayed by accident. I see the full picture of your journey. I know when to move and when to pause. I know when doors are ready to open and when they must remain closed for your protection. In this season, focus not on the length of the wait but on the depth of your trust. Stay close to me. Continue growing in small, faithful ways. Strengthen your roots through prayer, reflection, gratitude. The breakthrough you long for will come at the appointed time. And when it does, you will be ready, not just externally but internally. My beloved child, trust me in the waiting. I am not idle. I am not distant. I am working beneath the surface, aligning circumstances, shaping hearts, preparing you for what is ahead. Hold steady. Remain patient. Let trust anchor you. What is growing in this waiting season will support blessings greater than you can currently imagine. And when the time arrives, you will see that the waiting was never wasted. My beloved child, the world around you is always moving. Seasons change. Relationships evolve. Opportunities appear and disappear. Emotions rise and fall like waves upon the shore. If you attempt to anchor your heart to what constantly shifts, you will often feel unstable, unsure, and weary from adjusting. But I did not design you to drift through life without stability. I am your constant anchor. Imagine a ship in the middle of the sea. Above the surface, waves rise and crash. Winds press against its sails. Storm clouds gather without warning. To someone watching from a distance, the ship may appear vulnerable, as if it could be swept away at any moment. But beneath the surface, unseen by human eyes, the anchor grips firmly into the ocean floor. The ship may sway, but it does not drift. It remains secure because something deeper holds it in place. My beloved child, that is what my presence is in your life. You will experience emotional movement. Some mornings you wake with confidence. Other mornings uncertainty greets you first. There will be seasons of clarity and seasons where questions linger longer than you prefer. But your security is not determined by how calm the surface feels. It is determined by where your soul is anchored. If you anchor your identity in achievement, you will feel shaken when success fluctuates. If you anchor your worth in approval, you will feel unsettled when opinions shift. If you anchor your peace in predictable outcomes, you will feel anxious when plans change. But when you anchor yourself in me, you are secured in something eternal. I do not change with trends. I do not weaken under pressure. I do not withdraw my presence when storms arise. I remain steady. There are moments when responsibilities pull at you from different directions. Expectations press against your time and energy. Internal doubts compete with external demands. It can feel as though you are being tugged by invisible currents. But when your heart rests in me, those currents lose their power to carry you away. Anchoring is intentional. A ship does not secure itself by accident. The anchor must be lowered deliberately. In the same way you choose where to place your trust each day. You choose what defined you. You choose which truth shapes your perspective. Lower your anchor into my faithfulness. Remind yourself that you are loved without condition. Remind yourself that your value does not depend on flawless performance. Remind yourself that you are guided even when the path is unclear. These truths form the steady ground beneath your feet. Storms will still come. I do not promise a sea without waves, but I promise that the waves will not carry you beyond my reach. I promise that the winds will not uproot you from my care. Even when you feel movement around you, your foundation remains firm. When anxiety begins to stir, return your thoughts to me. When disappointment unsettles your expectations, anchor yourself again in my truth. When success tempts you to rely solely on your own strength, remember that your stability flows from me. Being anchored does not remove movement from your life. It gives you peace within movement. You can take risks. You can grow. You can face uncertainty without fear of being lost, because your core remains secured. Picture standing on solid rock while waves crash nearby. You may feel the spray. You may hear the roar. But your footing remains steady. That is the security I offer you. You are not meant to live in constant instability. You are meant to be grounded, rooted, secure. I am your constant anchor in joy and in sorrow, in clarity and in confusion, in seasons of abundance and in seasons of challenge. No storm can detach you from my hold. No uncertainty can loosen my grip. No failure can remove you from my foundation. You are anchored in me, my beloved child, and I do not fail. My beloved child, you have been so aware of your weaknesses that you have overlooked the quiet strength forming within you. You notice your doubts. You remember your tears. You replay the moments when you felt uncertain or overwhelmed. But you rarely pause to recognize how much you have grown. You rarely acknowledge how differently you respond now compared to before. And yet, beneath the surface of your emotions, strength is rising inside you. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not arrive with applause or sudden bursts of confidence. It grows steadily, like roots stretching deeper into the earth. You may not see it immediately, but it is there. Think of the sky just before sunrise. In the earliest moments, darkness still covers the horizon. If you glance quickly, you might assume nothing has changed. But slowly, gently, light begins to press forward. The darkness has not vanished yet, but it is already being displaced. That is what is happening within you. Even if shadows remain, light is rising. There were challenges in your past that once felt unbearable. There were fears that once kept you frozen. There were disappointments that once made you question everything. Yet you endured. You continued. You did not remain where fear left you. Even now, as you face new pressures, you are not responding in the same way you once did. You may still feel uncertain, but you no longer collapse at the first sign of difficulty. That is strength. Strength does not mean you never feel fragile. It means you recover more quickly. It means you understand where to turn. It means you recognize that your help comes from me. Imagine a muscle being trained. When resistance is applied, the muscle feels strain. It may even ache. But that strain is not destruction. It is development. Fibers are being strengthened. Capacity is expanding. Endurance is forming. In the same way, the resistance you face is strengthening your spirit. What feels heavy now is increasing your ability to stand later. My beloved child, every time you choose to trust me instead of surrendering to panic, strength rises. Every time you take a step forward despite fear, strength rises. Every time you refuse to let discouragement define you, strength rises. You have faced conversations you once avoided. You have taken responsibilities you once doubted you could handle. You have survived days you thought might undo you. And with each experience, something inside you became steadier. You may still cry. You may still feel overwhelmed at times. But tears do not erase growth. In fact, your vulnerability has deepened your dependence on me. And in that dependence, my strength has intertwined with yours. You are learning patience in ways you never expected. You are developing discernment through experience. You are discovering that endurance is built slowly, not instantly. These are not small changes. They are foundational. Look at how you think now compared to before. Look at how you pause before reacting. Look at how you seek wisdom instead of rushing. Look at how you continue moving even when you feel uncertain. These are signs of maturity. These are signs of strength. My beloved child, strength is not about never struggling. It is about refusing to give up. It is about returning to me again and again. It is about standing back up after you have been shaken. There is courage in you now that was not there before. There is resilience forming that will carry you into future seasons. There is confidence developing, not in your own perfection, but in my faithfulness. Strength is rising within you like a flame protected from strong wind. It may flicker at times, but it does not go out. It is sustained by my presence. It is fed by my promises. It is anchored in my love. You not measure your growth by how you feel in a single moment. Measure it by the pattern of your journey. You are not who you were when this season began. You are deeper. You are wiser. You are more rooted in me. My beloved child, strength is rising inside you even now. And as it continues to grow, you will step into what lies ahead not with loud confidence, but with quiet certainty that you are equipped, upheld, and never alone. My beloved child, when you have been in a storm for a long time, it can begin to feel like the storm is your identity. The struggle becomes the first thing you think about in the morning and the last thing you carry at night. Conversations revolve around it. Decisions are shaped by it. Your emotions seem to orbit around it. And quietly, without meaning to, you begin to believe that this hardship is who you are. But listen to me carefully. The storm will not define you. A storm is an experience. It is not your identity. It is a chapter. It is not the entire book. You are not the anxiety you have battled. You are not the mistake you made. You are not the rejection you endured. You are not the season of confusion you are walking through. You are my beloved child. Consider a mighty tree standing through violent winds. The storm bends its branches. Rain lashes against it. Some leaves fall. Perhaps even a limb breaks. Yet when the storm passes, the tree remains what it always was. It is not renamed by the weather. It is not reduced to the damage it sustained. In time, new leaves grow. Stronger branches form. The roots that held firm during the storm grow even deeper. My beloved child, your hardship is part of your story, but it is not your name. You may have experienced failure, but failure is not your identity. You may have walked through deep disappointment, but disappointment does not define your worth. You may have wrestled with fear, but fear is not your core nature. These moments describe what you have faced, not who you are. I define you. I call you loved beyond measure. I call you chosen and known. I call you resilient and capable. I call you mine. And what I declare over you carries more authority than any storm that rises against you. There is danger in allowing temporary pain to shape permanent identity. If you believe you are defined by this struggle, you will shrink your expectations. You will limit your hope. You will hesitate to step into new opportunities because you assume you are marked by weakness. But you are not marked by defeat. You are marked by my faithfulness. Imagine standing outside after a heavy storm has passed. The ground is wet. The air feels different. The sky slowly begins to clear. For a moment, everything looks changed. But the land is still the land. The mountains remain. The horizon remains. In fact, sometimes the storm washes away what was unnecessary and leaves the air clearer than before. This season may have changed your perspective. It may have revealed vulnerabilities. It may have humbled you. But it has also strengthened you. It has deepened your compassion. It has clarified what truly matters. It has drawn you closer to me. My beloved child, storms refine. They do not redefine. When you look back one day, you will see this season not as your identity, but as a turning point. You will remember the struggle, but you will also remember how you endured. You will recall the tears, but you will also recognize the growth. You will see that what once felt like destruction was actually refinement. Do not allow temporary hardship to rewrite your eternal identity. You are not permanently labeled by this challenge. You are not destined to remain in this chapter forever. The storm does not get the final word over your life. I do. Lift your head gently. Breathe deeply. Feel the steady ground beneath you. You are still standing. You are still loved. You are still called with purpose. The winds may have shaken you, but they did not uproot you. The rain may have drenched you, but it did not dissolve you. The thunder may have startled you, but it did not silence your destiny. My beloved child, the storm will pass. And when it does, you will walk forward not as someone defined by struggle, but as someone refined by endurance. The storm will not define you. My love defines you. My promises define you. My presence defines you. And that identity cannot be shaken. My beloved child, before you move forward into what is next, I want you to pause and gently turn your eyes backward, not to dwell in regret, not to reopen old wounds, but to recognize the distance you have already traveled. You are often so focused on what remains undone that you forget to acknowledge what has already been overcome. But I see it clearly. Look at how far you have come. There was a time when the very challenges you now face would have completely unsettled you. There was a season when your confidence was thinner, your understanding more limited, your faith more fragile. Yet through every experience, through every tear and every question, you have grown. You may not always feel stronger, but you are stronger. Think back to the worries that once consumed your thoughts. Some of them resolved in ways you never expected. Others forced you to adapt and mature. And some simply passed with time, revealing that they did not carry the weight you once assigned to them. You survived moments you once feared would undo you. That is not small. My beloved child, growth rarely announces itself loudly. It unfolds gradually. It appears in subtle changes of perspective. It shows up in the way you pause before reacting. It appears in your increased willingness to seek wisdom rather than rush into decisions. It appears in how you return to me more quickly when fear begins to rise. These are not insignificant shifts. They are signs of transformation. Imagine climbing a steep mountain trail. When your eyes are fixed on the distant summit, the climb feels endless. Your legs ache. The path curves in ways you did not anticipate. You may feel as though you are barely advancing. But when you stop and look back down the trail, you see the winding path you have already navigated. The height you have reached becomes undeniable. My beloved child, you have climbed higher than you realize. You have endured difficult conversations that once would have shaken your sense of self. You have made decisions that required courage you were unsure you possessed. You have experienced disappointment and still allowed yourself to hope again. You have felt sorrow and still chosen to trust. Do not minimize that endurance. Every time you resisted the urge to give up, you strengthened your spirit. Every time you chose patience instead of frustration, you deepened your character. Every time you whispered to prayer in weakness rather than surrendering to despair, you anchored yourself more firmly in me. Growth is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to continue despite struggle. It is perseverance when clarity is limited. It is faith when evidence feels scarce. You are not who you were at the beginning of this season. You are more discerning. You are more compassionate. You are more aware of your dependence on me. The lessons you have learned could not have been taught through comfort alone. My beloved child, allow yourself to celebrate the quiet victories. Celebrate the mornings you rose when you felt heavy. Celebrate the moments you responded with grace instead of anger. Celebrate the inner shifts that no one else may have noticed but that I have seen clearly. Gratitude changes perspective. When you recognize how far you have come, fear begins to lose its authority. When you remember how you were carried before, trust grows for what lies ahead. You may not have reached every goal. There may still be challenges in front of you. But do not let what remains overshadow what has already been accomplished. You are not standing at the starting point anymore. You are standing on ground shaped by resilience and faith. My beloved child, look at how far you have come. Let that awareness strengthen you. Let it remind you that you are capable of more than you once believed. The same grace that carried you through yesterday will carry you into tomorrow. And as you prepare to step forward again, carry this truth within you. You are not beginning from weakness. You are moving forward from growth. My beloved child, as these words settle into your heart, I want you to carry one truth above all others. I am with you, not only in moments of clarity, not only in seasons of strength, not only when you feel confident and steady, I am with you in the tough moments, in the silent battles, in the questions you do not speak aloud. You began this journey feeling the weight of your present struggle. You longed for strength, assertive reassurance. And now I remind you that the strength you seek has never been separate from my presence. I am not sending courage from a distance. I am walking beside you. I am within you. I am surrounding you. When fear rises, I am with you. When waiting stretches longer than you hoped, I am with you. When storms shake your confidence, I am with you. When peace settles gently over your heart, I am with you. You have learned that the storm does not define you. You have seen that waiting is not wasted. You have discovered that strength grows quietly. You have been reminded that my promises still stand. All of these truths point to one unchanging reality. You are not alone. My beloved child, carry this assurance into every new day. When tomorrow brings questions, remember my faithfulness. When tomorrow brings opportunity, remember my guidance. When tomorrow brings challenge, remember my strength. Whatever tomorrow holds, it does not hold you apart from me. Lift your head with quiet confidence. Breathe deeply with steady peace. Walk forward with courage that does not need to shout, because it is rooted in trust. I go before you. I stand beside you. I remain behind you. My love surrounds you on every side. You are held. You are guided. You are strengthened. And I am with you, always. And now, my beloved child, as this message has strengthened you, let it become strength for others. There are hearts still searching in the dark, waiting to hear that they are not alone. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are helping my light reach another weary soul. I declare over you that as you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you release your seed, I breathe increase over your life, just as a river multiplies every drop that flows into it. This is your moment to respond to my stirring within you. Do not hesitate when I nudge your heart. Step into this act of faith and let your generosity become a lamp for someone else's night. I bless the hands that give and the hearts that respond. I open doors of provision and pour fresh oil upon those who partner in spreading my word. Obey the prompting, take the step, and let your giving echo into eternity. My beloved child, I seal this promise over your life. You will not walk alone. Strength will rise when you need it. Peace will guard you. Purpose will guide you. I am with you. Amen.